Hi, good morning, SonRise families. This is Mrs. Murray, and I get to do the special lesson today on Father's Day. And this is just a special day that I want you to just love and hug on your granddad and your father, or the man that's in your family who just is raising you. First, I want to share something about our fathers. So run and make sure you grab your dad or your grandfather and bring him back and let him listen to these words, because I know this is how you feel as well as I do. Are you gone? 10, 9, hurry, go ask. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Okay, dads, we want you to listen to these words because this is how we all feel. Fathers, they are the ones who help to spark our imagination. They are the ones who explain the science behind a world like coronavirus. They are the ones who show us how to grab hold of adventure. They are the ones who pray for our families during the pandemic fears. They are the ones that surrender into the hands of a trustworthy God. You teach, you motivate, you mentor, you protect, you discipline, and you guide. They are the ones who show our boys what's truly expected of them. They are the ones who show our girls the kind of man to entrust their hearts to. They are the ones who help us see a heavenly Father who loves us. They are the ones who help us know His Son who was given for us. They are the ones who are passionate, resilient. They are the ones who are celebrated today. They are dads, and we love you. Hey kids, our story today is one of Jesus' parables. This parable of the prodigal son shows us the qualities of a loving father. In today's lesson, we'll learn that all of us can have this type of relationship with our Heavenly Father. But first, I want to play a game. Actually, it's kind of like a charge for you this week. You know how I love to do that. So I'm going to call your name. I'll start with me first. And you think of a father that you have read about in the Bible. You don't have to know a lot about him. I'm not going to explain it. Just name a father that you know and I've read about in the Bible. If you can't think of one, then I charge you this week to look one up. Have your parents help you. So we're going to start off with me and then the Johnsons. So get ready. Mrs. Murray, can you name a father in the Bible? Abraham. Okay. Arya. Cassia. Owen, can you think of a father? Jocelyn, Justin, Eric, Jacob, Leela, Melody, Paisley, Lila, Callie or Colton, you can say your dad, Brian. Ava, Naomi, Zoe, and Desiree, think of a father. Ivy and Chase, Nicole, Elliott, Nicole, supposed to be Natalie. I did this the other day through my Zoom. Natalie, Elliott, Caden, can you think of a father? I charge Elliott and Caden with a hard one. So one you're not familiar with, or you may have to look him up. Stephen, think of a dad in the Bible. Everly, Dustin, and Lila, think of a dad. Joey, Halen and Adora. William and Christopher. Christopher, you'll need some help, but William, you should know a dad in the Bible. Michelle, Valerie, Lauren, and Benjamin. And last but not least, Logan. Those are, if I forgot you and you're watching this, please call me and let me know to put you on our list so I can charge you too. Call me this week, please, and let me know which dad you picked. And we'll see which one is the most popular one. Okay, now, our story today, back to our story, is one of Jesus' parables he used when he was trying to teach a lesson. A parable is a simple story that illustrates or points out people's sins. And that's why he would tell these parables to the apostles, and some of them didn't even understand. Normally, the story of the prodigal son is told from the viewpoint of the younger son. Why was he called a prodigal son? Well, prodigal means someone who spends too much money recklessly, wastefully, and extravagantly. So let's read the story. This is from the Message. It's in Luke 15:11-32. The story of the lost son. Then he said, "There was once a man who had 2 sons. The younger said to his father, 'Father, I want right now what's coming to me.' So the father divided the property between them. It wasn't long before the younger son packed his bags and he left for a distant country. There, undisciplined and dissipated, he wasted everything that he had, every penny that he'd got. After he had gone through all of his money, there was a horrible famine. That means there was no food for anyone all through that country. And he began to hurt. He was starving. He was hungry. He had no place to sleep. He had no money. He signed on with a citizen there who assigned him to the fields to slop the pigs. He was so hungry, he could have eaten those corn cobs that were in the pig slop, but no one would even give him any. That brought him to his senses. He said, "That's it. All those farmhands working for my father sit down and eat 3 meals a day. And here I'm starving to death. I'm going back to my father. And I'll say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against God. I have sinned before you. I don't deserve to be called your son. Take me on as a hired hand.' He got right up and he went home to his father. When he was still a long way off, his father saw him. His heart was pounding. He ran out, he embraced him, and he kissed him. And then the son started his speech. 'Father, I have sinned against God. I've sinned before you. I don't deserve to be called your son ever, ever, ever again.' But the father wasn't listening. He was calling to the servants, 'Quick, bring him a clean set of clothes and dress him. Put the family ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then get a grain-fed heifer and roast it. We're going to feast. We're going to have a wonderful time. My son is here. Given up for dead and now alive. Given up for lost and now found.' And they began to have a wonderful time. All this time his older son was out in the field, and when the day's work was done, he came in. But as he approached the house, he heard the music and all the dancing. Calling over to one of the houseboys, he asked what was going on, and he told him, 'Your brother has come home. Your father has ordered a feast, barbecued beef, because he has home. Your brother is home and he's safe and sound.' The older brother stalked off. He was angry and he refused to join in or go to the party. His father came out and tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't listen. The son said, 'Look how many years I've stayed here serving you, never giving you one moment of grief. But have you ever thrown a party for me or my friends?' Then this son of yours who has thrown away your money on girls and shows, and he shows up and you just go out and give him a feast." The father said, "Son, you don't understand. You're with me all the time, and everything that is mine is yours. But this is a wonderful time, and we will celebrate. Your brother of yours was dead, and he's alive. He was lost, and now he's found." You can see how the lesson that's right at the top of our head is, why did that younger son do that? Why was he so greedy and did that to his family? Well, since this is Dad's Day, we're celebrating dads. Let's look at the father of the prodigal son. Let's look at some of his characteristics. Some of the questions that I want to ask you are from the story that I want us to look at this parable through the eyes of the father. So, what did the father do when the younger son asked for his share of estate? Did he complain? Did he say no? No, he didn't. He immediately went and separated the estate, gave what was his share to the younger son, and the younger son, he sat with it for a while, but then he left. He packed his bags and just left him alone, just goodbye, and went to another country. Did the father stop him, the younger son, from leaving? No, because fathers help us choose. Fathers let us choose our own paths. Those are very important, that we make those choices, because we are here for them. As mothers and fathers, we let them go and do what they need to do, and hopefully they'll come back, just like this one did. Did the father ever give up hope that his younger son may return one day? Well, you know what? Let's look at the story. He was looking afar. I believe that his property was here. I believe the town was here. And then I believe he saw his son coming from afar. Now, I want to tell you something. This is very interesting that my mother shared with me, that she said yesterday, did you know Jewish men don't run? Well, I never had heard that before. I thought she was just being kind of funny. She said, I can't remember why, but she learned it from, I think it was Kay Arthur, she said. And what it is it's very shameful if they bare any of their skin. And the Jewish men back then used to wear long cloaks and covered their bodies because it was shameful to expose any of their body parts. And for him to be able to run, you can't run in a long cloak. Have you ever tried to run? Well, girls run in their robes, and boys too. But you can't do it. You have to lift it up. So if you lift it up, then you bare your legs, and it would be very shameful. And there was a custom back then, and the custom was the community or your neighbors. It was called a kazaza, and they would stop the person of that family who had shamed the family from coming back home, and throw a pot right in front of them and say, we reject you. You may not come here. You may not be seen. We don't want to have anything to do with you. And I think maybe the father would go and look, because he knew the customs of that day of the Jewish people. And I think he lifted that cloak and ran as fast as he could, because he loves, like all fathers, unconditionally love their sons. And he ran and he grabbed his son, remember, and hugged him and gave him a big kiss. Wow. What did the father do when he saw his younger son? Yeah, he kissed him, he hugged him, he yelled for help. Can't you imagine the farmhands looking at this man running, because you're not supposed to run, and maybe they thought something was really wrong, so they all came running with him. And when they got there, he said, give him new clothes, clean clothes, dress him, put my family ring on his hand, give him new sandals. He was treated just like he was when he left. He was the younger son of this man. How did the father treat him? He treated him like he was always his own son, and he had never left. Did the father ever quit loving his sons? I don't think so. I think he would probably go out and look every day to see if maybe his son would come home. How did the father treat the older son who felt that the younger son was getting special treatment? That was a tough one, because I think I would be jealous too. I think I would be upset that this younger brother comes home after he took all this money and I had to do his share of the work, and the father was patient with him and loving and compassionate. And he told him, he said, your brother was gone. He was lost, and now he's come back and he's found, and he's back into our family. It's like he died and then he was alive again. And remember, these stories are teaching us a lesson. This is about God and Jesus. He was a peacemaker, and he explained to his own older son why they celebrated the return of the younger brother. Well, what are some of the characteristics that you see in this story? Well, I see the father being fair. When the young brother asked, he split the property of what was his. But then when the young man, the older brother got upset that his younger brother came home, he said, "You work beside me every single day, and what is mine is yours." And this young man, your younger brother, had nothing. So I think that's being fair. He was generous. He had wisdom, patience, compassion, grace, true love, and again, a peacemaker. Our dads are awesome. And I had a father who was awesome. He was a fantastic and amazing husband to my mom. He was a wonderful, perfect father to myself, my sister Susie, and my brother Michael. He was a very humble man who always had God in his life. He walked the walk, he walked towards the light, he lived the light. He and my mom taught all three of us kids that God is the most important thing that we should ever do. The characteristics of my dad, which I think is important, and I want you to think about the characteristics of your dads because they're all different. It is my dad's most positive characteristic is humility. As I said, he was an amazing husband. He was a fantastic father, and he also was a wonderful admiral in the Navy. He never talked about what he did in the Navy. He was the first Top Gun school. He shot down the MiG-21, a Russian airplane during the Vietnam War. And because he loved God so much, he circled the man who jumped out of that airplane so he could get down safely. He was a wonderful man. He taught me through experiences. Fishing, we both love fishing. And he taught me so many things through just fishing with him. He taught me to be responsible. I had to make sure I took care of my pole and all the goodies with him. He taught me skills, taking risks, self-awareness, being aware of yourself around other people, priorities, courage, independence, imagination, acceptance, gratitude, regret when you didn't catch the fish, success when you did, patience, vulnerability, inner peace, commitment, exploration, and most important, being God conscious and finding joy in everything. Dad said, don't complain. But if you do have a complaint, then I'll bring in a solution with it. I love my dad. He was the most perfect dad ever, and I know you say the same thing about your dad. But dads, if you're still listening, I just challenge you to take your children out. Dad taught me how to change the oil, change a tire, clean the spark plugs. Those kind of things are skills that even girls need to know. Teach the boys what's going to be expected of them, and teach the girls to share their heart with the type of man that they need to be with when they grow up. Kids, love on your dad today. The story of the parable son, he was lost and now found. So just love on your dad all the time. He teaches you, he loves you, he guides you, he mentors you. But most of all, he's just with you. And love God because he's our heavenly Father. And our relationship with our earthly fathers are as good as they can be, are nothing in comparison to what we will have when we have our heavenly Father. So just think of how perfect and how wonderful your Father is and exemplify that. So kids, have a great week. Again, celebrate your dads today, your granddads, and the men in your life. And SonRise, we love you and we miss you. And we hope to get together sometime in July, which will be really fun. So more to that, you'll get probably Kathy and Peter next week, which will be great. And we just love you. Take care. Bye.